while I'm waiting for the rings to arrive, which has taken almost 2 months now at this point, Honda must be making them especially for me, I'm tackling this head, and as you can see I've done a lot of work on this, and I will show you, there'll be a video where I'm actually tackling this, but in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the rings, I want to make sure that the work I'm doing on the valves, when I grind them down, that they are actually seated in correctly. And there is really no way of me checking whether I've done the work unless I can do a compression test. Now I'm happy enough from visually inspecting it that there's no actual cracks here on the walls, so they all look fine to me, but I still don't know whether this is actually making a proper seal, and the only way I can do that is if I do a compression test. So I've grinded these ones down, but in order for me to test these, to make sure that they are seated exactly as they should be and that there's no leak coming out here, because that's what was told on the original leak down test, the only way I can do that is to create a flat plate, torque it, put a head gasket on it, push some air into it and see if it's leaking. So yeah, so let's in this video I'm going to make that plate. Like I said, you could send this off, someone would do this for you very easily. I'm not even sure how much it would cost, probably about 100 quid, no more than that, but look, in the spirit of doing things by myself, I'm going to tackle it here on my own, and see how I get on. It's good enough. Now I'm lucky enough that this is that the head is just a single cylinder head, so it's a small surface area. So I've got this 6mm piece of aluminium here, and I'm going to do my own little pressure test. So before I do that, I have to make something. So I got this head gasket, which I'm going to use. That's the old head gasket. I'm going to drill 4 holes. Now it's not a true test, and why it's not a true test, obviously you can have a leak from many places. You can have a leak from the rings, that's one type of test. You can have a leak in the actual head gasket, that's another type. You can have from each of the valves, there's 3 valves there, so you can have it from any one of the valves. What this is going to test is just the valves and nothing else. One, that's 3 more to go. Okay, so I have them all drilled. There we go. They line up. The 4 bolts in. All in. The nuts in on the far side. Right, so I'm just going to torque these. Again, I'm going to do these diagonally. The manual says 48. So we're getting there. That's it. Just waiting for that click. That's it. That's it. Okay. That's 48. She's torqued down. So let's see if it works. Okay. So I have the head bolted on. I have on one side here I have a compression gauge. and on the other side, on the far side, I have my, I'm going to push the air in. So I'm going to go back to my leak down tester. So, put myself up. Now, I'll show you the gauges. The compressor is fully charged, so there's plenty. Now the kind of, I suppose the downside of this is that this will only push 7 bar or 100 psi, but that's good enough. I just want to hear if there's air escaping. Now this is not the head that I'm working on. This is just a head I had on the shelf. This is just, I'm just checking whether this plate is doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's all. Okay, so you can hear there's air escaping. So we're at 30 psi. Okay, let me see if I can hold this. So, okay, let's increase the pressure. So I'm pushing 50 according to this gauge. It's 50 on this gauge, and you can hear there's air escaping from the exhaust valve. That little bubbling over is because I have WD-40 in those holes. So okay, let's keep going. Let's go to, you can hear it now, it's really escaping. Okay, so this is 100. Okay, we're almost at 100 there. So that is the pressure in the head. You can see there's two gauges saying the same thing, and you can hear the exhaust one. Yeah. There's some escaping through this gauge. So hang on. Okay, so I've confirmed that this gauge is actually reading correctly, which is good. I'll take this out. I'll just put a plug back into it because there was some air escaping through there. Okay, so I'll take that gauge off. Just put a plug into it. Put it back in again at 100. Let's see where the air is going. Okay. So you can really hear it's coming out of the exhaust valve. You see that? And almost nothing out of the intake valves. Or at least very little out of the intake valves. So the exhaust valve on this head needs a bit of work. So that's it. That's my little home rig. Now it's definitely, if you have a nice flat plate, it's definitely quicker just to drill a plate than to drive across town, pay 100 quid, get this pressure tested, and then come back. I mean that's a full day's driving. Where this was 15 minutes to drill 4 holes. So okay, so on this head I know that this valve here needs a bit of work. And basically what I'll do is I'll grind that valve, put it back in again, and just see if it gets better or not. And if it isn't, I might have to replace the valve, but it will be better. So that's what I have to do on the other head. That's it for this video. I'll continue on with the head, and when I get my rings, which should be in a week, I'm going to try and assemble that engine back up again. Thanks for watching.